winning this fight tonight with our name lit up in lights. We're the new kings, winning this fight tonight with our name lit up in lights.
Friday Night Stars, presented by Whataburger. We've had our grill going for 75 years, and yep, it's still going. Whataburger, goodness 24/7.
It is playoff time in Texas, and welcome to another edition of Friday Night Stars from inside the Globe Life Studios here at the beautiful Star in Frisco. Bill Jones, along with Kyle Youmans, and yes, the 6-week trek to a state championship starts tonight or tomorrow night for your favorite football team. This is Friday Night Stars, but of course there's Thursday Night Stars as well. And boy, do we have some matchups in by district this week.
No doubt about it. Of course, this is where the new season begins. We'll start with our Whataburger game of the week, and of course it's a great game right off the jump that we've seen in playoff time a couple times before. How about Louisville taking on Allen? Allen has ended Louisville's stretch the last 2 seasons. This is their 3rd straight playoff meeting, and it's of course a chance for the Fighting Farmers to try and evict some revenge on the Allen Eagles.
You know, an Allen team that was a regional finalist a year ago went 13-1, and they've got designs on even going further this year against upset-minded Louisville, but Allen has some D1 talent on their side.
No doubt about it. I mean, they are stacked across the board. Of course, you got some of those playmakers that we've talked about already this year. The wide receiver committed to Arizona, Caleb Smith. You've got a corner, Kai Wheaton, who's committed to Oregon State, rather. You've got Division I talent across the board. Allen, their closest game this year was a 31-30 win against Prosper. Their second closest game this year was a Week 1 win over Midland Legacy, where they won 46-13. They were dominating their entire schedule in that District 6A en route to a district title. Louisville, on the other hand, lost to Allen each of the last 2 years in the first round, in this by-district round. Their losses this year in an 8-2 campaign to just Denton Geyer and Coppell. Their quarterback, Trey Williams, has been great throughout the season, connected on 190 out of his 297 passes, 2,300 yards passing, 28 touchdowns. The one thing for Louisville, they do turn over the football, 11 interceptions this year. Got to take care of it against a team as talented as Allen.
Michael Odell, we're doing a great job at Louisville. The tough thing for Louisville is playing in District 5-6A. If you finish second in that district in Division I, usually you have to play Allen in the first round of the playoffs. All right, let's go to Class 6A, Division I, Region 2 here. The Rockwall Heath Hawks back in the playoffs under head coach Rodney Webb after a 4-6 season last year, taking on the Wiley East Raiders. Home field advantage for a district champion, Wiley East.
Yeah, definitely so. I'll start with Rockwall Heath since they're playing on the road. 7-3 this year, faced a tougher schedule throughout. Of course, they played some really emphatic games early in the season. They played against Rockwall, played against Highland Park, played against Prosper. Those are some of the games. They won that Highland Park game, but they've lost some of those other ones along the way. Carter Zam at the running back position, over 1,000 yards rushing, 17 touchdowns. And then Prosper Neal, who we've mentioned a few times on this show throughout the season, 31 total touchdowns, including 13 on the ground to go with his 18 passing scores. Rockwall Heath can get up and down the field and score. But you mentioned Wiley East playing at home. The Pirates are the best kept secret in DFW right now. An undefeated 10-0 record, number 3 scoring defense in the area. They do not give up points, but they've got a guy named Amarian Porter, 3-star wide receiver that creates some balance on the offensive side of the ball. They run the ball effectively. They throw it to Porter quite a bit, 43 receptions. He's got 4 touchdowns and over 590 yards receiving, but they've got Jonathan Udabor, 97 carries. He's a bell cow back with 13 touchdowns on his season as well. Lots of really good talent in this football game.
And Marcus Gold has done a great job with the Wiley East program as well. A 3rd straight 10-win season for them, and they've got Haas in the middle on offensive line and the defensive line, and Daniel Opara as well. Number 3 scoring defense in Class 6A in the area. Staying in Class 6A, Game of the week number 3 in Division II, Region 1 at Prosper. It's the Hebron Hawks. Look out for this Hawks team that has been on a scoring flurry in the last 4 games of the season, averaging over 40 points a game against a Prosper team that's one of the best passing offenses in the area.
They're one of the best teams in the state, Bill. I mean, this is a Prosper team that is primed and ready to make another run. Of course, their only loss was to that Allen team we talked about in District 6A. Nothing but Division I talent across the board for the Prosper Eagles. Guys committed to Texas Tech, to Duke, to Texas A&M, USC, Tulsa, Arkansas State, Texas. Would you like me to keep going? Because I can. Because there are multiple Eagles going to even the service academies, places like Navy and Army as well. Bryce Robinson at the running back position has been tremendous. I like what Braden Imhoff brings from a quarterback standpoint as well. Imhoff, 29 touchdowns, 3 interceptions this year, over 2,700 yards passing. They'll be tested early in this game by Hebron, who took Louisville into double OT, ended up falling in that game to the Fighting Farmers a couple weeks back. Played well against Coppell in the loss. They defeated Dallas Jesuit early in the year. Don't look past Brady Brock in this offense. They've put up some efficient numbers as well, 22 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. That's comparable for what Imhoff has done in the Prosper offense. The Hawks haven't been relevant in playoff contention because they run into that 6A buzzsaw in the first round of the playoffs. But if they can sneak past it, this is going to be a team that can make a run.
And they made a run last year. They went 8-5 last year as they went 3 rounds deep in the playoffs before running into South Lake Carroll in the regional semifinals. But this is a tested team that had a very tough schedule early in the year and might be rounding into form. Could be a sleeper team playing against a Prosper team that has designs on making their own long playoff run this year. All right, let's go down for our final game of the week in Class 5A, Division II, Region 1. It is the 5th-ranked Argyle Eagles of Coach Todd Rogers taking on Todd Dodge's Lovejoy Leopards. And you got some big names in the coaching fraternity going up against each other and some really good programs here.
Yeah, 2 of the most well-decorated coaches in Texas high school football. And if you remember, these 2 were district foes during the last realignment in a couple of years where they split games back and forth. Lovejoy actually won the meeting in 2023, but then they lost in the playoffs last year in the by-district round as Argyle won that game 42-17. Argyle, they look like they're being back to the elite Argyle teams that we expect to see from Coach Rogers and company. McGuire Gasperson, Julian Caldwell. This is a passing attack that is one of the tops in the area for good reason, as you can see there across the board. And then Lovejoy, they survived what is just such a tough district to get through. Teams like Anna, Melissa, Frisco Emerson, Prosper Walnut Grove, they don't care. They made it through as one of the 4 teams out of district play. So Lovejoy feels like they're battle tested. They feel like they're ready despite being considerable underdogs against an Argyle team that they know very well. I think this Lovejoy team wants to prove something with Coach Todd Dodge this week.
Yeah, and the other thing that happened with Lovejoy this season, they lost their leading receiver in game 2 of the season, Coleman Ray, a sophomore sensation, and so they struggled offensively earlier this season against Anna and Melissa, 2 blowout losses, which is uncommon for Lovejoy, and maybe they're getting things back on track, but it's going to be a very difficult challenge playing at Argyle on Friday night. We're just getting started here on Friday Night Stars. Up next, let's head to Frisco. It's the Showdowns at the Star when we come back.
This segment was brought to you by Whataburger. Try the all-new Prickly Pear Raspberry Whata-Fresher, made with real raspberry. It's refreshing and ready for you now at Whataburger.
Time for the Showdowns at the Star as Friday Night Stars continues here tonight. Right down the Nike Star Walk from the TV studio here inside Ford Center. The Lone Star Rangers playing host to the North Mesquite Stallions. More on North Mesquite in just a moment. The Friday night Showdown at the Star. The Wakeland Wolverines, 9-1 on the season. Their lone loss to Lone Star. They're playing host to the Newman Smith Trojans. Real quick, Kyle Youmans, how about the Lone Star Rangers? And they survived their season finale for an unbeaten regular season by beating an arch rival, Reedy, last week.
Yeah, Reedy did everything they could late in that game to make that a ball game. Trailed by multiple scores, kicked a field goal, recovered an onside kick, went down, scored a touchdown as time was getting down to the wire with just 49 seconds left in the game. They went for two in the tie to try and tie it up at 28. Two-point conversion was no good and ultimately ended up in a 28-26 Lone Star win. Like you said, Coach Rayburn and company knew the challenge at hand, but give credit to Coach Cole and the Reedy Lions. They really made things tough. That was by far the biggest test Lone Star has faced so far this season.
So Lone Star and Reedy in that district, Wakeland in that district as well. And let's check in on those Wakeland Wolverines now.
Jaden's definitely one of those guys that has done a great job for us, and he's got a cannon of an arm, and some of the things that people don't see are the film study that he does on his own, and just trying to get better every single day and putting in extra time, whether it's here or whether it's outside of here. He's got that unique ability to kind of rally the troops as well, which is nice to have in the quarterback position.
I feel like our team chemistry is at an all-time high compared to later years. I feel like we've definitely spent those, long extra hours outside of school, outside of facilities, whether that's just team bonding, hanging out, playing video games, or that's going up there, getting work, getting snaps down, just running the offense and having that, all those clicking and all those cylinders firing all at once. I feel like that's huge for us, is just team chemistry.
Yeah, Grayson's one of those unique impact players. You don't get District Utility Player of the Year as a junior like he did last year without being somebody who can make plays on both sides of the ball, and it's very evident. He's always our go-to guy on offense, and then defensively he's making big plays on fourth down. He's making interceptions and big plays in big ball games. So in those pivotal moments, there's a good chance that number 6 is going to be part of the plan somewhere.
And how about Chandler Isom's Wakeland Wolverines? This is their 13th straight trip to the postseason, and they are trying to advance to the area round for the 5th straight season if they can win against Newman Smith on Friday night at the Star.
Yeah, I mean, it really is incredible to see the way that this Wakeland team has grown over the course of the year. He mentioned Jaden at the beginning. He was talking about his quarterback, Jaden Maples, who's had a phenomenal campaign. And they have some weapons around it. I like what Brennan Meyer brings as kind of a three-way player. Plays on offense, plays on defense, and he also returns kicks on special teams as well. They have some versatility across the board. This Wakeland team is better built for a playoff run than they have been in the past, which is scary for teams at that 5A Division I level because they have made some playoff runs at that level over the last few seasons.
All right, when we come back here on Friday Night Stars, we take a deep dive into the playoffs, and there's a former Cowboys player leading his high school team that he coaches to the playoffs for the first time in a decade when we come back.
This segment is brought to you by Whataburger. Introducing the all-new Whataburger Bacon Wrangler Double. Big Texas flavor, made hot and fresh for a limited time, only at Whataburger.
Welcome back to Friday Night Stars here inside the Globe Life Studios at the Star in Frisco. Bill Jones along with Kyle Youmans. There are so many Class 6A teams in the area ranked in the top 10 in the state. And Kyle, we have a possibility in Class 6A Division I, Region 1 for 2 top 10 teams from right here in DFW to meet in the regional final. That would be 10th ranked North Crowley and 2nd ranked Allen.
Yeah, I mean, they've got a direct path to get there. Of course, North Crowley has Keller to start their season, and then you've got, of course, Allen playing Louisville, as we talked about earlier in the show. I don't want to discredit either one of those programs, and even some of the programs that they would face down the line, but those have been 2 of the better teams in the area. Wouldn't be surprised to see them playing on December 4th through 6th. Remember, we don't have designations quite yet on a chance to go to the state semifinals.
And of course, North Crowley, a defending state champion in Division I. How about also in Division I, in Region 2, the Duncanville Panthers are ranked 8th in the state, and there is a possibility that they could face a division rival in Waxahachie in the regional final on down the road, but it's a tough road to hoe for them. North Forney is also in the mix, a top 25 team in the state.
Yeah, North Forney and Saxe is underrated as one of the better by-district matchups that we've seen this year. Of course, Waxahachie's got a really tough first-round test out of District 12 6A. The budding superstars of Waco Midway High School and the Panthers down there in the Super Syntax region. That'll be a tough matchup for the Waxahachie Indians, says Waco Midway graduate Kyle Youmans himself. Now, Duncanville does also play a Super Syntax team in Temple. Duncanville would take on the winner of Wiley East and Rockwall Heath. That game we previewed in the opening segment as one of our games of the week. So it's not an easy path for either one of these teams, but again, they've been there, they've done that, and they have the talent coming out of that district to make a run themselves and try and get back to it. And you know Duncanville wants another piece of Waxahachie after the Indians provided them their first district loss in quite some time.
In Class 6A Division II, there's one other possible matchup a couple of weeks from now, Thanksgiving weekend. The Prosper Eagles could be playing the #1 team in the state, South Lake Carroll.
Ooh, that would be an interesting one right there. That's two different shades of green and two of the better talented teams that we've seen all year long.
All right, let's switch to Class 5A. A former Cowboy, Tim Cedar, has his North Mesquite Stallions in the playoffs this year, and Johnny Resendez has more.
The 2025 North Mesquite Stallions have accomplished something that hasn't been done in 10 years, clinching a spot in the postseason.
I've been here all 4 years. People tried to get me to go. I stayed. I stick to what I knew. I stayed. I'm ready.
Ever since I was a freshman, it's all I dreamed of. So I'm here, and I'm going to enjoy the moment. I'm very grateful.
The Stallions officially punched their ticket to the playoffs by beating WT White 51-44, a moment that head coach Tim Cedar has been waiting on for a long time.
Little things matter. Good look up front, guys. That's it. It's a big deal right here. It's a big deal. That's it. Good look, defense, good look.
You could just feel the pure joy, right? It was because they laid it on the line. To come off the field victorious after that, the true joy of that was really, really special. And you don't get that everywhere.
Now, if the name Cedar rings a bell, chances are you've been a long-time Dallas Cowboys fan.
4-yard field goal by Tim Cedar in overtime. Snap, placement, kick is on the way, down the middle, good. Cowboys win it in overtime.
The Stallions head coach was the place kicker for the Cowboys from 2000 to 2001. Now as North Mesquite coach, he's hoping to instill the same lessons he learned from team owner Jerry Jones onto the Stallions.
The passion that Jerry has for his team, I could feel that as a player, and I love that. And I want to have the same passion for my guys here.
Now, the Stallions had to scratch and claw to get to the playoffs. They lost 3 of their first 4 games, but would later get 3 straight dominant wins. The players said they were not going to give up that easy because that grit and determination has been preached on this field since day one.
Since the beginning of the season, we always taught TDS. It means tough, discipline, and selfless. Beat every last one of those.
I was so proud of them because their back was against the wall over and over and over again. And all you did was see when the going gets tough, what? The tough get going. And they just kept going.
North Mesquite now has a clear path to the 5A Division I title. Nothing is guaranteed this time of year, so they want to enjoy every moment.
The brotherhood is big. On the field, in the schoolhouse, outside of school, stick together. Great things can happen.
Reporting in Mesquite, Johnny Resendez, CBS Sports Texas.
And Tim Cedar's North Mesquite Stallions taking on Frisco Lone Star at the Star tonight. We wrap up Friday Night Stars in just a moment. Take a look at Class 5A when we come back.
Friday Night Stars, presented by Whataburger. We're celebrating 75 years of giving the people exactly what they order, 24/7. That's the Whataburger way.
Final minute or so of Friday Night Stars. Let's check in on the #1 ranked team in Class 5A Division I, the Aledo Bearcats, located just west of Fort Worth, and what kind of run they might have to a state championship. They've had so many in their history out in Aledo. They could be facing Denton Ryan in a regional final on down this playoff road, Kyle Youmans.
Yep, it would be a regional final, and it might be a battle of District 3 across the board as one of the tougher districts in all of the state. You take a look at Richland at the top half of the bracket, Denton Ryan there taking on Chisholm Trail in their opener. Aledo takes on Saginaw, and then it's quite the path there for both Denton Ryan and Aledo. I think if, of course, you're looking at some of the teams that could upset them along the way. El Paso Americas is one of those opportunities. El Paso Parkland has been good throughout the year, but I still think it's Aledo, it's Denton Ryan, two teams that went down to 1 point earlier in the year.
All right, the talk is over. It's time to play playoff football, and we'll be back next week for another edition of Friday Night Star.